It is day 17 in the Whiskey Advent calendar, and today we have a Taiwan whiskey. This is fun. So, about a year ago, I was at the store and I was just roaming through the whiskey aisles, as one does. And I stumbled across Kavalan, which I'd never heard of. And I thought, oh, Kavalan? What kind of whiskey is that? I look on the bottle. It's from Taiwan. And I think probably the same thing you're thinking. Scotch, whiskey style whiskey, or smoked whiskey from Taiwan? And the answer is yes, absolutely. Not necessarily smoked, but whiskey from Taiwan. Hell yes. And it turns out the team in charge of this whiskey, they started in 2005. The team is Ian Shank, who's won Master Distiller of the Year, actually, at a whiskey competition. And Dr. Jim Swan, who has been involved in all kinds of things. I mean, he's a consultant to blenders and distilleries and cooperages, and he's actually involved with Penderyn, the Welsh distillery, which I have 3 Penderyns here. Some point I'll do a video and tell you about these because they're great, and they're hard to get your hands on, but absolutely worth it. He's got a PhD in chemistry and bioscience. He's a fellow in the Royal Society of Chemists. This is Dr. Jim Swan I'm talking about. And he's the one of the brainchilds behind Kavalan whiskey. Now, this is their one called Concertmaster. It's a port cask finish, Concertmaster, if I mumbled that one. And it is a single malt, right? Which means all barley. So that's kind of exciting. Now, I can already tell you, I've tried this one because I bought it and I was curious about it. It's been a while since I had it, but I remember when I drank it after purchasing it at the store, I thought, damn, they nailed this. My favorite thing about the state of the whiskey industry right now is that things just get better. Now, here's my small rant. Wait, I'm going to take a sip because whiskey and rant, you know. Oh, yeah. You can definitely taste the port. But it's a great whiskey. Okay, so here's the thing. When you hear people saying like, oh, the whiskey industry is exploding and we have a shortage of whiskey and blah, blah, they're full of shit. Go research anyone who bitched about a shortage of whiskey. I guarantee you they make their money from investing in extremely rare whiskeys. Guarantee it, right? If you are a whiskey drinker, you have never lived in a better time than now. This is the golden age of whiskey, or I would say one of the golden ages of whiskey. The things in the next 5 to 10 years that you and I are going to get to try are going to be things that whiskey drinkers in the past could only have dreamed of as a possibility. Big distilleries are investing in interesting new things and experimenting and trying new things. Independent distilleries and small producers are breaking rules and, you know, like Corsair, trying all kinds of weird grains and things like this. Man, this is the time. If you drink whiskey, you have been born in the right time, my friend. Is there a shortage of old and rare whiskeys? Yes. That's sort of the definition of rare. So I don't know why anyone would be surprised by that. Is there a shortage of whiskey? Absolutely not. We are in prime time, my friend. And countries around the world are investing in whiskey. And it's not pure marketing. My favorite thing about whiskey is that it attracts aficionados and people who fall in love with the spirit. And entrepreneurs. And so you get people in Taiwan who don't start distilleries because they're like, well, seems like there's a market for distilleries. And notice that's my that's my Taiwan accent coming from a Texan. So all of a sudden my Taiwan quote just became a super redneck Texan. But we're going to go with it. So, you know, looks like there's a market for whiskey, so we're going to start ourselves a whiskey distillery here in Taiwan, and we'll make us some money. That's not what happened. And that's not what's happened in India. That's not what's happened in New Zealand and Sweden, and right, where you've got Macmira, and New Zealand, it's called Starward. All around the world, distilleries are starting up, and they're starting up because people in those countries love whiskey, and they realized no one in this country is making whiskey. We should do that. So Taiwan is one of those. In Taiwan, there was no real whiskey. The company that started it is a company experienced in beverage production, but there was no one doing whiskey. They brought in Ian Chang, they brought in Dr. Jim Swan, and they made Kavalan, and they are making great whiskey. So are they in India with Amrit. So they are in New Zealand and Australia. So they are in Canada. So they are all over the world. You are living in the time, my friend. So pat yourself on the back, or if you're watching this with a friend, have them pat you on the back and then return the favor. This Kavalan is a damn fine whiskey, and we're all grateful to be drinking it. Cheers to you. And I will see you tomorrow.